is the material the same or similar material to like a traditional stick build? Like, is there lumber drywall still involved, or is that different?
Thank you for that amazing softball. I'm happy to talk about that. So current construction is made, with sticks, 2x4s, and sheets that you can get in the back of a pickup truck, and the guy has to haul up a ladder in the freezing cold or the sweating heat. We're here in Las Vegas, North Las Vegas. We live in the desert. How can anyone build a home in this heat? And so everything is scaled for a man or a very strong lady to pick up and nail together into a home with a variable quality, no tolerance in terms of fit. The raw frame gets rained on. I mean, it's a mess of problems. We, however, like the rest of the world, are in a giant factory with giant equipment that can pick up giant things. So we do not. Our production version for the consumer will have almost no nails. There will be no nails in assembling the product in terms of how it goes together. And we don't use 2x4s. We don't use stick framing. We use laminates. Laminates is just think of a layer cake of different sheets of different materials. And the equipment you see behind me, we put down a layer. We run glue across it, put down another layer, run glue across it. And that's the magic of laminates, that when you put all these layers together and you put a point load in the middle to make it bend, the glue is trying to push sideways at 90 degrees and it doesn't want to go. So you can have these very thin panels that are only about 6-8 inches with an incredible bending resistance. And it's just sort of the gift that keeps on giving. Our homes are built from steel, concrete, insulation material, and a form of ceramic and non-flammable liner for the interior that we use in place of drywall, which is crumbly and horrible. And we use this particular ceramic panel for the interior. And it's immensely strong. And what we don't have something that the market is plagued with, which is called thermal bridging. So thermal bridging is where you have hot on one side, cold on the other, and never the two shall meet, ideally. So all we have between our walls is insulation, whereas traditional homes have a piece of wood in between. Well, that's a highway from the heat to go from one side to the other, or to cold to go from one side to the other. So their thermal resilience is just horrible. Whereas really we're a thermal battery. We're more akin to a thermos flask or an igloo cooler. And by building the way we build, we also have other advantages. All of our walls, floors, ceilings have holes that run all the way through them. We call them chases. And if you had X-ray eyes, you would see basically a grid, just like a graph paper grid. And that allows us to run plex wires, wiring, sprinklers throughout the unit anywhere we want. It allows us to configure the Boxable building shell and put outlets for TVs, or maybe on the floor for a coffee table or credenza or something like that. And it also allows customers to do that later on if they decide they want to configure their product. They don't need to get an electrician in to rip open the whole wall. The electrician just runs a chase through the wires, through the holes called the chases, and runs it through, and it's very, very easy. And then when you connect boxes together on all three axes, X, Y, and Z, if you stay with the grid, back to that Lego analogy, guess what? All the chases line up from one Boxable to another. So you can run those lines from one Boxable to another without opening up the walls. And it makes a very, very flexible system, both in the factory and in the field for the customer. Customization for the customer is key for the overall building system as it develops.
Because of the way that it's designed, does it keep houses cooler and hotter depending on the weather?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
if you think,
basically-
yeah, that's exactly right. That we are really a thermal battery. So if you want to stay cool on a hot day or warm on a cold day, our products are going to do it better, second to none, than anybody else on the market. We have no thermal bridging on our walls. And when the panels come together, not only do they have physical interlocks when the panels come together, but they have gaskets. Think of a gasket when you open your door and you see the rubbers of the car, and you see the rubber seals. We have those, and we have 2 and sometimes 3 gaskets. If you think of the razor, they started off the razor with 1 blade and 2 blades and 3 blades and 4 blades now. And when our panels come together, there are 2 and 3 gaskets, including with a physical interlock.
Mhm.
So these things shut down like a bank vault.